Now you have money coming in from running your Shopify store, and now you're looking to see how you can save more money on your tax bill. Now, one of those answers is an S-Corp designation, which can actually help you cut down on the amount that you are paying due to self-employment tax. So today, I'll be showing you how to make sure that you're setting up an S-Corp correctly and a software I use to be able to automate the whole process. So if that's something that interests you, be sure you stay tuned. Now, once you've started making consistent revenue in your business, it's now time to start looking into how you can make sure to legally keep as much of that money as possible. This is where changing your business into an S-Corp can be beneficial. Now, from a tax perspective, it makes sense to convert an LLC into an S-Corp when the self-employment tax exceeds the tax burden that you would actually be facing by using the S-Corp designation. Now, depending on factors like the type of business you have or even your location, you could see tax savings as low as $40,000 in profit. But this is all going to come down to your specific situation. That's why I typically recommend you either talk with a tax accountant or you make sure that you're doing your research before you decide just to switch over. So how do you actually go about doing this? Now, first, the requirements. You need to be a U.S. business. You want to make sure that you have no more than 100 shareholders or owners. Now, shareholders can be individuals or they can be certain trusts or estates, but shareholders cannot be any corporations, partnerships, or non-resident aliens. Now, for most people, that shouldn't be any problem. It's more likely maybe you're the only, you're the only owner in your company, or maybe you have a couple co-founders. So more than likely, most people won't have to worry about that stipulation. Now, another stipulation is you only want to be using one class of stock. Now, if you're not sure whether you are or not, it's highly likely that you are only using one class of stock because you typically, that's like a designation you're giving yourself if you want to allocate certain shares or certain types of classes of stock to investors or whatever the case may be. So it's definitely something that you would know that you were doing. Next, what you want to do is you want to actually make an LLC to an S-Corp election with the IRS, okay? You need to actually file a Form 2553. I'll link to it down below as well for you to be able to get that and get it filed. And you want to make sure that you actually file this form by March 15th of the year that you want the election to take effect, okay? So let's say I wanted this to take effect in 2024. I would have to make sure that I filed this form in by March 15th of 2024 for me to be able to have that for that specific year, for that tax year. You can also do it anytime the prior year, okay? So if I'm trying to do it in 2025, I can file anytime during 2024, and I know that it's not going to take effect until that following year. Now, once you've submitted that document and you've gotten a response back, the next thing you want to do is you want to set up your payroll system. Now, you'll have to use this to be able to actually pay yourself and to make sure you're properly collecting any necessary state and federal taxes. Okay. Now, what I recommend and the simplest I found so far is a company called Gusto, which I'll link down below. I'm actually using them for myself, and I've started partnering with them because I found so much value in their offerings, and I actually share that with people from my audience and also some of my clients that I work with as well. For me, I haven't found many softwares that are as simple to handle as Gusto is. It literally lets you easily onboard and offboard employees. It does something called software provisioning, which I found really valuable, and that's pretty much where if I have a new employee come in, I can easily set up a email account for him through Gmail, right, or G Suite. I can have that easily set up. I can have him easily get access to all the different softwares that he's going to need for his specific role. And all that can be done through Gusto, which is really dope. Another thing is when it comes to the payments, you can literally automate the whole payroll process, okay? Whereas instead of you having to physically see and calculate the taxes, so on and so forth, the system does it automatically. They handle your taxes. They handle submitting your taxes. And if you want, you can even set up an autopilot where they're literally just paying you every month the same amount. And that's been an excellent benefit. Now, on top of that, more than likely, I'll start even using their 401k benefits through them as well, as they make it pretty simple to get that set up. They have partners that they work with where you can do that process as well. But one thing that's extremely important. There's a lot of people who are going to want to take advantage and say, hey, if I can save more on taxes, I'll just pay myself less and keep more in the business. This is very important. You need to make sure that you're paying yourself a reasonable wage or compensation, guys. If you're a lawyer and you're paying yourself $20,000 a year, but your company made $500K, right? That's not going to look too good in the IRS's eyes, right? Because they're going to look at it and say, what lawyer is getting paid $20K, right? They're going to say, you should be paying yourself commensurate or, equivalent to what other lawyers in your area are getting paid. So with that same idea, it's like if you have a Shopify store, you need to make sure that based off of what your tasks are in the business, that you're paying yourself accordingly, okay? If all you're doing is handling customer service requests, then you could pay yourself what a similar customer service representative might be getting paid in your area, okay? But it's up to you to be able to do the research and actually make sure that you're, that you're making sure that your compensation is equal to what it would be if you were working at another company, for example. Now, I'll link down below to some reasonable compensation resources that are available out there, but typically you just want to make sure that you're paying yourself what you would expect to earn at another company, right? Or for a comparable role, for example. Now, by the way, guys, if you're looking for someone who's actually going to be able to help you with your accounting or your bookkeeping, as well as your payroll, handling the payroll services, check out the link down below for my agency. That will actually help you outsource your accounting and making sure that your books are 100% accurate, okay? We work specifically with Shopify stores or really e-commerce stores, and you can actually, just reach out to us. We'll do a consultation to see if we're going to be a good fit. Now, I do want to touch on a few mistakes that you want to make sure that you don't do. Another mistake you want to be careful with is the state taxes at the business and individual level. Now, this may actually reduce the benefits of you using an S-Corp, so you want to make sure that you are kind of doing the calculations for your specific industry or your specific business location and the state where you're actually paying your taxes and things like that. It might reduce. You're still going to get value from an S-Corp depending on what your actual profit is at the end of the year, but it's that your threshold might be a little higher. Kind of the example that I gave earlier on was, for some people as low as $40,000 in profit, it would make sense for them to switch into an S corp, right? But there might also be a situation where for you, because of the taxes involved in your state and the way your state is structured, you might actually have to wait until you get to $60,000 or $80,000 before it makes sense for you to switch to an S corp. Another big mistake, and I touched on this before, but I got to mention it again, is making sure that you're paying yourself enough, guys. This is huge, huge, huge. This is one of those things that a lot of people make a mistake on because they're just trying to find more ways to squeeze more money out, but they're not doing it within the confines of what the actual rules are, right? That's why it's so key that you make sure that you're paying yourself enough. Don't fall into that trap of thinking that you can pay yourself $1,000 a year or something when you made $500,000, right? Or whatever the case may be. That's a drastic example, but you get the idea. So make sure that you are actually taking the time to do the research, or click the link down below to get more access to more resource on that topic. Another mistake people make is not making sure that they pay all the relevant payroll taxes for their S corp. Now, if you're not going to use Gusto, keep in mind that if you think that you're going to do it yourself, you need to be collecting taxes from your employees' paychecks as well as paying the employer portion of your taxes, okay, as well. So just keep in mind that you got to know, like, at what levels of government you got to pay taxes to, right? Federal, state, local, maybe, whatever it is, right? I'm not an expert when it comes to the taxes. I told you guys I use Gusto, so they're pretty much handling all of it. I just got to tell them based on my business's location, where I'm located, so on and so forth. But if you're going to do it yourself, make sure you do the research and you know what percent of taxes you need to pay at what levels, and that you're literally taking those taxes out of your employees' paychecks, or in this case, your paycheck, and you're also paying the employer portion. And you want to make sure that you know what frequency you need to be making payments at. Do they want it every month, every quarter, every year, whatever the case may be? Okay, so just make sure that you're staying on top of it, because this is not something where you don't want to get caught in this where now the state's reaching out to you because you didn't pay such and such tax, whatever the case may be. So this can be a big mistake that people, especially if they're not using some sort of software to automate this and they're doing it on their own, this is where big mistakes can come in. Anyways, guys, I hope that helped you out. If you're currently selling using Shopify, make sure that you subscribe and you don't miss any of my future videos. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, like this video if you found it valuable, and reach out to us down below if you need help with your bookkeeping and would like a professional accounting agency to be able to help you with managing your books. Okay, so all those links will be down in the description, as well as the subscribe button will be down below. All right, so appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace.